All right. Well, I guess let's kick this off with if you can see and hear me. That's how we start every single one of these. So same camera, same audio setup as always, but you never know. While we're doing that, looks like we had Mr. John Upton. Appreciate you, man. Became a new member. We got Jay Stalker 2, Harry Grubbs, David Struther from San Angeles, Texas. We got Mr. Bobby from Delaware. Quality Maximus, what's up, man? Got Tom Brewer from Hickory. What's up? Right down the road. Let's see. Yeah, saying loud and clear. All right. So, yeah, it looks like we got about 40-ish. I'm expecting those numbers to bump up pretty quickly. But, yeah, we'll talk about some new stuff that kind of I've got going on, stuff you'll see on the channel. Kind of thinning down the herd a little bit to make room for some new things. I've got some new stuff, that I've been buying and trying. All sorts of things like that. And as per Facebook, we're going to talk a little bit about optics. It's really a topic you can never really talk too much about. And I think I have a really good way of explaining, at least in my mind, how kind of optics work, or not how they work, but the scale of being a consumer and buying an optic. You're talking about price point and what to expect. So yeah, hopefully we'll get into a little bit of that. Let me see who else is jumping in here. Let's see. We got Mr. or Mrs. maybe Heather from Arizona. What's up? We got, let's see, North and ODT from Australia. We got JC from Houston, Texas. Tim Rink from Southern Indiana. TD Wilson from Hill Country, Texas. We got Benjamin Martin, Las Cruces, New Mexico. A Hawks 87 in Kentucky. What's up, Tim? How you doing, man? Let's see, another conservative sniper hunter. What's up, brother? Mr. Aussie himself. We got Stefan Anderman. What's going on, man? Dennis Hoffman. Yeah, you caught me finally. Caught me live. We got Mr. Paul from Canada. Enzo, what's up, man? T. Hurst from Indiana. Roger Rose, what's up, brother? Lance Kirkland from West Virginia. How about a date? Yeah, so we're still working that out. It's kind of a moving target. We got to kind of didn't have a place. Now we got a place. We're trying to figure out, it's a tough time of year to schedule this kind of thing, but we're working on it for sure. Harry Grouse, what's up, brother? RC Dean X5 from Spartanburg. What's up, man? Need some fancy BB gun talk. Yeah. I don't really have much. I mean, we can always talk about fancy BB guns, but we'll see where we go. We got Angel Dominguez from Paraguay. What's up? We got Jay Stalker from Austin. Stephen says he's from Louisiana. Uncle Fester back Kernersville. What's up, man? What scope should I use for my MTR CZ? That's an open-ended question. If I've ever heard one, we'll get more into that hopefully as the evening goes on. Man, you guys are piling in now, which is good to see. I'm glad you guys are popping in. Mr. Guzman 69-ish from Canada. What's up? We have Daniel. Let's see. Mr. James McCracken. What's up, man? Glad you're watching and learning something. That's awesome. Let's see. We got G. Lee Partridge. Oh, I almost messed that up. What's up, man? Lift and shoot. I'm the one that asked about. Yeah, there we go. So, I mean, it's always a good topic. Optics are always that thing. And I do have a wide variety of optics. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's a thing. Mr. Dustin Brown from Southwest Missouri. What's up, man? Let's see. Montana here for Hater. Hey, at least Hater 1976. That's pretty awesome. At least he came right out and told everybody that what he was about on his YouTube handle. Let's see. Try not to miss anybody. We got Steve S. in Idaho, Jeremy Salter in Florida, Stephanie Music in Colorado Springs. Missed one up there. Jonathan Pickrell in Iowa. Let's see. Harry Grubbs saying he's got quite a few you can look through. Let's see. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I forget it's Sunday for Australia, so those guys are saying happy Sunday. It is Sunday there. Saturday night for us, Sunday night for them. Um, but yeah, so I guess first I'll say I've now tested the Rimex and the Voodoo Alta Arms mags, the Ace mags. And I'm probably going to do a video. It's kind of hard to do a video on mags, but I probably will because these things are good. The Rimex, the Voodoo, I'm basically just using those now. So if you're on the fence looking at expensive magazines, because these are expensive, this is like you buy one or two and you stop buying mags. They're billet. They're really, really good if you're on the fence about that. I did pick up finally an Athlon Rangecraft. They didn't send this to me. I bought this. I've been rocking the FX True Ballistics chronograph for a long time, but it's not really packable. So I got this because it's a little bit more packable. So I've been using it a little bit. Initially tested it at Modicam. It was like 4 to 5 feet per second faster than both the Garmins, but it was consistently staying, like 4 to 5 feet per second faster. So far, so good on that. Today, I just got in a brand new optic, the Element Theos 2 to 10. And for a lot of you guys, precision rimfire guys, this scope probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Probably not a scope you're looking at getting. But for me, I'm actually going to be shooting some team sniper matches this year, and that scope is like going to be a necessity. And I just started looking at it today, but it's freaking pretty awesome. Let's make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Let's see, Florida for Mr. Was that Jeep TJ? We got Gavin from Indianapolis, Carmen from Kentucky. Maker Greg, looking forward to optic stock. My FX Dynamic just came in for Tire Guns today. Lots of deals out there for Black Friday. Yep, that's for sure. So with your new approach to zoom, power for shooting matches, has that changed scopes you like? Not really. The scopes, most of the scopes I like are very tolerable of that. It's going to change how I go about it because considering it's rimfire, I'm going to have to touch that parallax knob quite a bit more. Let's see. We got Helping Man 7 from Graham. What's up? Right down the road. We got Mr. Hasbro in the house. Got Mr. Gilbert Clark. Enjoy your show. Just bought a 457 MTR and love it. Good news, man. Yeah, I mean, there's no better way of getting into it than with a freaking CZ. That's for dang sure. That's pretty funny. Mr. Treefeller, we got all the Aussies. It must be Sunday morning in Australia. And we have, I don't even want to go out. I think I've hit everybody's name right, but I'm not going to get that one. But we got Sitka, Alaska in the house, which is pretty cool. So yeah, optics, and I'll try and keep up with the comments if I can. Mr. Mark Lashway from Michigan. Well, here's a good one before we get into what magazine capacity you prefer: 10, 12, 15, PRS stages, bench shooting. 15, like all the time. Like these are 15 round mags. I want more capacity than I could see in a stage, and I don't want to load magazines. So if I can get a 15 round mag, that's what I'm going to shoot. None of the 15 round mags are too long to where they get in the way of any positional shooting. So for me, it's kind of, there's no way to lose. Just gone 1 p.m. in Sydney, so not quite. Oh yeah, it's deep into the day. Let's see. But yeah, so scopes, yeah. So the first thing, and we got Mr. J. Chapman from Georgia. Guys were asking me was about, we're talking higher end scopes now, but the Razor, the Mark V, and the Zico, because I have a 527 Zico now. And, it's like most things with optics. The Mark V is the cheapest of those. Like it's going to be low 2000s, right? $2,200-$2,300. You're traditionally not going to get illumination. It has really good glass. And if you care about weight, it's about 30 ounces. So the Mark V is definitely good enough to get it done. Lots of very, very reputable like PRS shooters out there who are shooting them. And yeah, of course, they're sponsored shooters, but those guys are not going to be shooting that scope if it sucks. So like, it doesn't suck. It's a good scope. It's very competitive. I like the Mark Vs a lot. And you're going to see more Mark Vs because the rifles that I'm building for sniper challenge stuff, like they're lighter weight optics, are trying to be as light as they can. So the Mark V, yeah, the glass is really good. it's a good all-around scope. It's low frills, right? Like there's not a ton of stuff. It doesn't have push button illumination. They usually don't have any illumination. It's just not a lot of stuff. It's very purpose driven. You go up from there in price. Then of course you got the Razor Gen 3. The Razor Gen 3 has really good illumination. It has really cool turrets. It's going to be a little bit heavier. It's going to weigh a little bit more. To me, the Razor Gen 3 glass is slightly better than the Mark V. Would it ever really make an appreciable difference? For me, no. I can never tell the difference unless I had them side by side and I'm looking through and looking at very, very specific things. But using them, like I can use the Razor Gen 3, I can use the Mark V interchangeably. There's no really big difference. Obviously, the Gen 3 has the cooler turrets, has illumination, costs more money. So and it's heavier. For PRS guns, precision rifle shooting, nobody cares about weight, so it's kind of doesn't matter. But then, you start talking Zico, and I'll group in Tangent there. The money goes up considerably. You were under $3,000 easily for these scopes. Now you're at $4,000 scopes. The Zico is better. Like the illumination is really good. It's really good across the board. The glass is better. The difference at the very top, from what I've seen from most people, I don't own a Tangent. I know a lot of guys who shoot them, a lot of guys who left Zico and went Tangent, is a Tangent has a more forgiving depth of field, which is something we're going to talk about when we start talking about here in a minute, optics in general, because what we as shooters call parallax all the time, which it is, the parallax is the movement of the reticle as it relates to your head position. So perfectly parallax for that distance to reticle, no matter where your head is in position to the optic, it never moves. That's like a correct parallax. That's putting both the image and the reticle glass and image on the same plane so that they're always true. The byproduct of parallax is focus. An apparent or not so obvious part of that is depth of field. And so those are very different things. So when guys say, well, it has picky parallax, like comparing the Zico to the Tangent, a lot of times what they're talking about is it has a narrower depth of field than the Tangent. So that means if you're parallax for 100, maybe the Zico gets a little fuzzy at 400, and maybe the Tangent doesn't. Maybe it's 500-600 yards. And the thing about that depth of field is, as you move that parallax around, the closer you are to the target, the tighter that depth of field is. Once you get out like 600 yards, a lot of them are huge. Like you can basically shoot it. It doesn't matter. The parallax error also becomes like very forgiving out there. But for rimfire guys, we experienced it a lot more, both the short depth of field when we're talking about like focus and seeing targets, and the parallax, like how sensitive it is, because when you're shooting close, it's way harder, which is why I've always said that scopes for 22s, and a lot of centerfire guys laugh at this, we need better scopes than they do. We're trying to see smaller bullets with no trace, with no splash at 300 and 400 yards and shooting all the way down to 20-30 yards. Like our scopes need to be better. We're not shooting 140 grain bullets that throw dirt and rocks everywhere that leave visible trace. I really think that for the serious rimfire shooter, the scope is almost more important. But let me catch back up on the comments and we'll get into some of the cheaper stuff. And there's a way I like to explain this to my friends, and, don't hold me to this. It may not be true in, every situation, but for most people to wrap their brain around it works 90% of the time. And it's just a little kind of like pie chart kind of deal, which will make a lot more sense when we start talking about the more inexpensive optics, and how you can kind of rationalize what you might or might not need. Let's see. Oh boy, I am way behind. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody either. New to live stream, Mr. Mike from Michigan. Let's see. We got Mr. Rick Ward from Ontario. I bet it is frosty out there. Let's see. Would I put the Theos in that same group? Yes, the Theos. So both the 2 to 10, which is too new for me to say anything other than it absolutely shocked me how much I like that 2 to 10. But the 6 to 36 Theos, I mean, it is definitely so. And I don't want to put words in their mouth. So this is not them saying this. This is me saying this. I think they made the 6-36 Theos to be a Night Force attacker, right? And for less money. Like, I think that was, in my brain, that's what they tried to do, and that's kind of what they did. Like, it's made in the same plant. But yes, the Theos it has glass on par with those. It's feature rich. It's a little heavier. I would put it there with the Gen 3. Optically, to be honest, I've owned both of them. I've never sat them side by side and nitpicked them. But I've shot the Theos a lot on center fire at the gap brine out to 1,300 yards. And I never had any issues. So it's been very solid for me. And I would definitely put it in that top tier for that $2,000 to $3,000 Mark Vs, Gen 3s, the upper end Zeisses, all that stuff. It definitely belongs in that crew. Nice. My EP5 is not being cloudy at 20. Yeah, it's you need to call. It shouldn't be cloudy. Like, if it's just clouding up now, some darkening, that's to be expected because you're like going in full power. But if it's clouding up, you probably need to reach out to Arkin. Would tracked optics be below the Mark V? I would say that the tracked has really good glass. It's hard to say. I don't know, because I'm trying to think what the tracked weighs. Do I think the tracked is a lesser scope? No, I mean, it's a light optical work scope, I don't know. That's actually like a question that I probably never considered. I think the tracks are really great for their price point. I would not feel like any kind of way about swapping those two out. I just don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look at the specs, honestly. So I might have to circle back to you on that. And I'm not trying to not answer because I just truly don't know. But I do hold the tracks, like the 4-25, their other scopes, the 4.5 to 30. I do hold them in very high regard, and they are a very good Japanese scope. I would say the Leupold, it's hard to compare to because it's got like can reticles. I probably prefer the tracked reticle to those. I can tell you the illumination, which is going to come standard on the tracked, is pretty good. So that would be a consideration. So yeah, you know what? I would say, yeah, I would put those two. I would couple those very closely. The tracked, the high-end tracked, and the Leupold Mark V. Let's see. With winter coming and getting cold outside, I'll be honest with you, I don't really dry fire. When I was new into it and I was like building reps, I used to dry fire a bunch. I dry fired a CZ a ton. I don't really do it now because I'm shooting so many different things. Pistol matches, a DMR match. Now I'm preparing for sniper matches, like team style matches, range engage kind of stuff. And so I just don't really have the time and honestly the dedication to dry fire. I know a bunch of guys who do. It's just I don't have the motivation there to do it. The Titan's okay for the money. It's I couple that in with basically is what they are. It's a cheaper Chinese scope, and we're going to talk about that. Have I compared it directly to like the Arkans and things like that? No, not really. It's just the Arkans are scopes that I have on guns, and I do recommend these scopes to a lot of people. Most of these are coming from the same place. So what's more important is looking at the features and what you want for the price point. And most of them are going to be pretty dang comparable as far as the budget, Chinese stuff. And I'm pretty dang sure the Titan is a budget Chinese scope. When we testing, I actually need to get a hold of them. So I've checked out a few of them, but I haven't tested the new ones. Let's see. Bailey J, I want to say what's up. Your channel's great. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, brother. Let's see. Yeah, ETR scope somebody mentioned too. I don't know what that is either. I'm assuming it's Athlon scopes probably. But yeah, I would definitely check those out too. Mr. Quality Max says, keep in mind for each person, eyesight varies, so image quality can make a difference and worth the extra money when considering razors, eco, and tangent. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, the thing is, and it's mostly true across the board, is you're not spending more money and being disappointed. Like, you're getting more. But it's like with everything else. When you get to the top end, when you're hitting that $2,000 price point and up, you're spending a lot of money for minimal gains. There are gains. Like, you won't pick up a Tangent and a Zico, look down them one time, and throw your Razor Gen 3 in the trash. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, I've looked through a bunch of those and shot through a bunch of them. And if you were like always shooting a Tangent and then you go and shoot a Razor Gen 3, you're going to notice it. Like, you're going to be like, it doesn't look as good. And it's not. I mean, but if you're shooting a bunch of different scopes, if you're shooting the Razor and then you're shooting the Tangent some, the difference is not staggering. Like I said, if you spend all your time looking through a Zico or Tangent, then you go look at something in the $2,000 price point, then yeah, they're like, yeah, that doesn't look as good. It's not as crystal clear, sharp, but it's not a huge difference. What's the better 2 to 10 TAC Division 5.56 best bang for the buck in glass? I'm looking at the Apex Eagle 110-24. The reticle looks very user friendly. So I'm looking at the 2 to 10 specifically for like DMR stuff. Like, if we're talking that, then there's no way in crap that the Razor 1 to 10 touches this. And I think in the independent reviews that I've seen where people are talking about MPVOs, like Mile High's video, the Theos is standing up against the Night Force and even beating it in categories. Then, of course, there's the Zico 2 to 10, which is a ridiculously priced optic, which is obviously better. Like, it's like, come on, twice the money, it's obviously better. But I like a 420 for DMR type stuff. If you're talking about run and gun stuff, then honestly, yeah, I don't think you need an MPVO. I think you need an LPVO. And I would keep it probably like 1 to 6, because you're stretching the limits. The more magnification span you have, like everything gets harder to accomplish in a compact size. So I would stay in that 1.6, 1.8. I have no idea, man. I'm sure he's probably taking some time after a busy shooting season. It's really super cold and probably already snowing his butt off, but I don't know. That's why he runs the Chrono, such a wide depth to his parallax. Yeah, it was a good scope. Let's see. Family's doing pretty good. Appreciate you, man. We got, let's see, who we got here. Mr. Joe, what's up? I'm trying to catch up here so we can, and then we'll dive back in on the, let's see. And then we'll dive back in on the optics. Oh, man. Let's see. Understand good glass, long time photographer, great glass cost money. I bought myself a retirement gift, Voodoo 360 Vortex Strike Eagle versus D&T. I've never had a Strike Eagle. I'm not a Vortex fan. Yeah, and actually when I did my Razor Gen 3 review, like that was like the title, like from a Vortex hater, because I've been a Vortex hater for a long time. The Razor Gen 3 is a great scope, but the other Vortex stuff, more often than not, I think they get beat by competitors at a better price point, because Vortex is, they've earned their reputation and they're cashing in on it. I don't blame them. I just think there's competing scopes that are equal or less money that are better most of the time. Let's see, Mr. Purple Wayne, been using your guidance since starting in sport 5 months ago, getting good enough to win a couple NRLs and doing pretty good at PRS. Just want to say thank you. Appreciate it, man. It's good to hear, brother. Mr. Hasbro, I know this is sacrilege, but I've been playing with a Harrell's tuner on the Lilja barrel. It's easy for Sim. Really has made a very good improvements early in testing. Yeah, I'm actually going to test one of the clamp-ons. Tuners do work. To me, they're often a distraction, though, especially for Rimfire. It's like the tuner is not the difference that's costing me or gaining me. So it's another distraction, another variable. That's kind of why I've stayed kind of clear of them. Let's see, Mr. Hair Grubs. I would say the tracks a hair below. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's probably true. I haven't looked at them back to back, side by side. Obviously, I've used them and even in the same shooting sessions, but a lot of these scopes, unless you're just like literally looking, because even when you're shooting through a scope, you'll hear people talk about edge-to-edge clarity. All that stuff's true, right? But when I'm shooting targets, I couldn't tell you what the edge clarity is, or literally the edge could have a message that said, I suck at the top. I would never notice because I'm not looking at it. Is it a topic of contention for comparing optics? Sure. Is it the make or break of the reality of needing a scope? Not really. But so I'm just saying that to say that, when I'm shooting scopes and doing scope reviews on YouTube, I'm not really like that nitpicky scope reviewer. When I'm doing them, usually it's a review that's like me experiencing the scope right then and there and telling you what I think from my perspective as just a shooter, as a guy, like what I like about it, what immediately stands out, what I don't like about it, if its clicks are good, if things are good. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of minutia and stuff that I think people kind of nitpick a lot that really doesn't make a huge difference to most of us. But Smith & Bender, little no experience except for the one that sits in Jonathan Elrod's shop at Monocam Custom Rifles, and it has telephone poles for reticle design, and I freaking hate that one. It's the reticle, not the scope, but has instantly scarred me from Smith & Bender because I hate that scope with a passion. What's up, Mr. Leftio? SMB is alpha tier. Yeah, I've heard. I actually posted up a picture of the Zico, and one of my friends on Facebook was like, "Oh, welcome to the alpha scopes." I never even heard that, dude. Like, I thought that was pretty funny. What sniper matches? So I'm gonna shoot a couple of 1-days. I think Steel City Precision is one of them. I'm gonna try and get in on. I think there's another one in like Tennessee. And then ultimately the Mammoth Sniper Challenge is where I'm headed. Try to get into one this year. The guy emailed me back. It's like, dude, we got like 20 teams on standby, so unlikely. So probably looking like January of 27, so a full year from now. But that's okay. It gives me more time to train with my partner, more time to shoot. So we'll have a better showing out there. The Mammoth is basically a ruck match with some shooting. So rucking is a big part of that. Les Tracy from Montana. What's up, man? Let's see. Trying to catch up here. Just put a DNT and kills on my fort. Yeah, the DNT is a good scope. DNT Ops is a good scope. What I like about the DNT over like the Arkin is the knurling and the reticle. That's pretty much it. The knurling on this stuff and the reticle, I like more on the DNT. Other than that, 7 to 35, 7 to 35, they looked identical to me. Let's see. Mr. Stewart, hello from McRae, Georgia. Just ordered an Arkin 624-50. Can't wait to compare it to my Vortex Viper HST. I think you'll probably be pleasantly surprised. But yeah, sounds like a good deal. My better half hasn't shot anything less than a Collis 525 DLR. She's rubber going, yeah, I can see how that would be a thing. What's my opinion on the Athlon Midas Tag Gen 2, 5 to 30 to 56? Sole purpose would be backyard plinking at 300 yard max. No, the Midas Tag, the Athlon scopes are what I would consider is the kind of the line of scope that really started and probably still is beating most of the, I don't want to call them budget because the Midas Tag isn't a budget scope, but kind of middle to low end scopes. Like the Athlons usually are kicking their butt for the same money. So yeah, you really can't go wrong with the Athlons. I've never really had one, including the Midas Tag Gen 2. That was like really bad. Any tips for competition burnout? This is going to sound dumb, but I don't shoot a ton of any one competition anymore. I got burned out shooting rimfire competitions. The reality of the situation is almost nobody in the competitive shooting world is making a living doing this. You're doing this at a financial loss, right? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to get sponsored, do this. That's great. You can get sponsored. You're still going to be doing it at a financial loss. Like, you're going to be spending money to do it. So I kind of just came to terms with the fact I'm like, I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do. So if I think I'm going to go to a match and then the weather looks really crappy, I don't go because I'm not going to have a lot of fun. And I made it more about going and hanging out I tell a lot of people now, I'm an amateur shooter, but I'm a professional shit talker. I mean, and that's almost why I go to matches, to hang out with my buddies, talk crap, have a really good time. And that helped me a lot. There's people who have competitive drive who want to be first all the time. And, that usually lasts for X amount of time if you're not first, and then you're going to get burned out. It's super personal. I say all that to say what works for me isn't going to work for you, but if you're getting burned out, it's good to recenter yourself and kind of look at this and say, why am I doing this? Like where am I getting the enjoyment from? Are you only there to win and be first place and beat other people? If so, and you're not doing that, you may just need to relook at your training and say, how can I be more successful? But if you're doing it for other reasons, just simple, just find those reasons, be realistic with yourself, and go to matches and for that particular reason. I love the competitive nature of matches. I love to go and compete. I just kind of stopped caring about where I finished at the end. Like, I want to shoot well. I want to do well, of course. I don't want to miss a bunch of targets. But if I get beat by 10, 15 guys, like, those guys probably earned it. They probably worked harder than me, spent more time. And for me, like I said, I'm having way more fun going and talking crap with my buddies, because I was kind of in that wheelhouse of like I was getting pissed at myself at matches. Like, I go to a match, something didn't work, I miss a shot. And then I was like, kind of just sat back at some point and said, dude, like, I'm stressing out. I'm freaking super irritated the whole time. I'm pissed off or missing a target or over my equipment doing something I wanted to do. And I was just like, man, this is just totally unnecessary to be this mad over something that I'm paying to do. It's supposed to be fun. So I just kind of found what was fun for me specifically in it and just kind of went, back to that. So probably not very helpful in all realization, but yeah. What kind of SDs are we seeing in larger sample sizes? 100 shots at SD of 9. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would want to ask you, why are you shooting 100 shot SD samples? Like, that means probably next to nothing unless you're shooting something we're going to shoot. I get SD samples over strings and average them. So in a stage, I'm going to shoot max of 15 rounds. So I'm getting ES and SD of 15 shots, right? Because that's my max string. So that's realistically what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to set that gun. And then this is for like strictly a competition gun. Then I'm going to set that gun inside it for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to pick it back up. And I'm going to do the same thing with that ammo because I want to know how I'm using it. How's it going to work? So unless you're doing something where you're shooting 100 shots, I would say quit doing that because you're probably wasting a ton of ammo you don't need to. Because not only can you test your SD and ES on this 15, but turn that 15 shot string into something you can use to your benefit. You can't really do 100 shots and really benefit from it. And what I mean is, put your chronograph down and say, I'm going to build a position right here on the bag on this next to my chronograph. And I'm going to shoot these targets as KY or whatever. And for 15 shots, I'm going to break as perfect of a trigger pull as I possibly can. And that's what I'm cognizantly going to do. And I don't care if I miss the target or not. And then I'm going to take a breather, think about what I did right, what went wrong. And then I'm going to come back that 30 minutes later to that gun, when it would be shot again, likely in a match. And then I'm going to say, okay, this 15 rounds, I'm going to work on rifle stability. I'm not going to pull the trigger until the rifle is dead center. And then maybe the next, group, I'm going to watch every bullet. Like whether it hits, I'm not even hardly looking at reticle. I'm watching, trying to see trace, see the miss, make a correction, that kind of thing. But yeah, sorry, that's probably like super kind of out in the weeds. What's up, Mr. Robert? Take on suppressors for NRL 22, unless you just love doing it. I mean, NRL 22 monthly, probably fine, 100 yards, whatever. NRL 22X, leave that suppressor at home. It's going to fill up. The volume's going to change all the time. You tip the gun up, crap's coming down back in your action. It's not worth it. The guns are quiet enough as it is. NRL, within the 100 for the monthly, sure. It's not going to hurt anything. I don't really think you need it, but I get it. Suppressors are cool. Yeah, could be AI. Deep fake. Let's see. Can you try to find some Fiocchi ammo to test? Yeah, I can try it. It's not very popular here, but I do see it. But yeah, as somebody else said, Fiocchi, you cheap. Yeah, it's definitely cheaper ammo, but see, Mr. Robert got a Marlin 925 about 20 years ago. Kmart when they're going out of business, and I need $100 scope for it. What would you recommend? 100? Honestly, like if you're getting $100 scope, you're going to be buying an Amazon scope. I don't really have a lot of experience. What I will tell you is I think these run about $100. And you see, I just whipped this out of my drawer like that. Armstrong Enterprises. So I've talked to this guy. I know him to be a good guy. Obviously, these are coming from China, but I've looked through these for $100 off Amazon. Look at the Armstrong Enterprises. He was a good guy. He takes his time. There are different reticle options. You're actually going to get like a usable reticle with a usable dial. If you're going to only spend $100, I would go with something like this. Again, on Amazon, I knew there was a reason why I kept that in my drawer for the last 2 years. It was for this precise moment. What do you find in scopes that cut through Mirage most effective? Now, people say that is the redeeming quality of like the Tangent, like it cuts Mirage like no other. For me personally, I'm not shooting at those distances all the time. Like I'm not a centerfire PRS competitor who needs to cut through Mirage. So for me, oftentimes DMR, I'm like 900 yards and in. That's kind of where I'm at, centerfire. But even when we shot the gap grind, I'll tell you this, like I think I shot a Bushnell scope the first year, and then I think I shot the Theos this year. And the Theos is not a cheap scope. Is it known for cutting through Mirage? No, neither are attackers or whatever. But I had to shoot in the same Mirage as everybody else, and we had crappy Mirage. It wasn't like I couldn't see a target and the guy with a Tangent, which, by the way, was a guy shooting next to me, Chris Simmons, with a Tangent Theta. Would it cut through better? Sure. But when we were shooting there, it's not like I couldn't make shots that he could because he had a Tangent and I had the Theos. But certainly there are scopes that do better with the coatings. I'm not a scope engineer. But yeah. What's wrong with Burst? Nothing. Yeah, they don't have a ton. Burst doesn't have like a ton of options. But yeah, I've had the XTR Pros. They're good scopes. I like the Bursts. How you been doing, Josh? Quarter minute Magnum. He loves them. Tangent, Davis, and the yeah. The Tangents are great scopes. There's no debating that. Any plans? No, I'm not. I gave that scope to someone I gave that rifle to someone in need. Like a situation came up. Somebody needed more than me. What they had was suboptimal. They weren't going to get something more than suboptimal. So I put a scope on that thing, gave it to them. So that's what happened to that. It's not uncommon. And sometimes I forget that I'm like, going to make a project out of something. I've given, not high dollar guns, but when I have the kind of guns that are budget guns that I'm not shooting a lot. And, they're like just guns that aren't going to get real use here for me. If I run into somebody who needs one or something, mostly use kids or whatever, shooting whatever, then I usually just kind of hand them a gun and a scope and let them go on. Let's see. Apex Revile X. What I thought. So I felt like the Apex and the Tract were very, very similar. I felt like the Apex was more money just because it was coming from Canada. I like the turrets better, but basically to me, about the same glass quality wise. So in the US, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to buy the Apex Rival because it's more expensive because it's coming from Canada into the US. If you were in Canada, I would say the opposite. If you were in Canada, I'd be like, why buy the Apex Rival? Why would you buy the Tract? But that's just a reality here because it's coming here. It's more expensive in the U.S. If you're in the U.S., there's other scopes that are going to be the same or better for the same money. And it's not a knock on them. It's just reality of, how that works. Yeah. Bushnell Match Pro is hard to beat. Any long gone? Yeah, there is. We're trying to work out the dates. Trying to squeeze it in December, but I don't think it's going to happen at this point. Probably going to be like January. What new Discovery scope do you want to test next? I need to look back through their catalog. I actually saw them at the Gap Grind this year. They were actually at the Gap Grind, which surprised the crap out of me, but they had a bunch of new stuff and I didn't really spend a ton of time there, but I knew there was a couple scopes that I hadn't seen that I looked through there that I definitely wanted to check out because they looked pretty good in person. So let's see. Any scope feature or technique for reading wind? Less mag, image quality, consistency. Yeah, I mean, for wind, you're looking at, a lot of different things. I mean, and the better glass you have, the more you see. That's just the end of the day. That's what's going to happen. If you're at high power, like you're shooting high magnification, the better glass you have, the more of like that fine straw grass and things like that you're going to see bend. The more, mirage like that you want to see, that you're going to see. So, I mean, it's really, for most people, I think we get caught up. It's not that we can't read wind or we can't, because as human, we can, like, we do it our whole life. We're looking at things move around. We associate wind with that. I think the problem for most of us is being on the clock, shooting targets, shooting the gun, and taking that time to come out of that and be like, what's the wind doing? Like, that's what a lot of us don't do. Like, a lot of us just aren't observing and really taking a cognizant thought of what the wind's doing. How far am I shooting, and what was the last shot? And the wind is heavier now. Let me add more. How much more do I think? A lot of us don't do that mental process. And, that kind of, you're not going to do that mental process until you're like completely fluid with the other processes of shooting. And that's what the training's for. But yeah, so that would be kind of my not answer to that. We got Mr. Ryan in the house from Kansas on your short time. Going to call Yotes tonight. There you go, man. I appreciate you stopping in. Let's see. For Shizzle. What's up, buddy? Nice to see you yesterday. Should be some fun in Tennessee in a couple weeks. Yes, sir, man. It was nice to see you. I don't see you nearly enough, but I will definitely be looking forward to seeing you there. I don't think you're staying with us in the Airbnb, which sucks because we could have caught up more. But if you are, that would be cool too. New Gen 3 Midas TAC is so good. Nice. I haven't seen that. I haven't talked to Dustin and those guys in a while, Tree Feller over there at Athlon. I need to. I just been so consumed with other crap. Let's see. Picked up my Zeiss S5 for a good price from my Voodoo, and German glass S5 version is really good. Yeah, I hear really good thing. I really have, I've never personally owned a Zeiss. I've shot the S3, S5. I never personally owned one. I'm going to have to get a hold of an S5 at some point just to get more time behind it, to get a more, a better feel for their scopes. Timothy Trexler, always feel like the only person I got to be this myself, try to beat the score. I shot the tournament before. If I can beat myself, I feel like I'm doing good. There you go. Follow up on Zerotech Trace Advanced One. Yep, it is coming soon. I'm not really postponing it. I just kind of been doing a bunch of other stuff. And I wanted to kind of step away from it for a minute and then come back and look at it more objectively, because I was kind of, when I was looking at it there first, I was shooting it a bunch. And, when you kind of look through something all the time, that kind of becomes the norm. So, it's going to be an ultra realistic perspective from me on a follow-up, because I've been shooting the, now I'm going to say tangent, the Zico 527. So I've been shooting some freaking nice scopes. So, let's see. Better help at the NRL 22 Nationals then. It's funny. Appreciate you. I'm glad you got something out of it, man. Saying he absolutely loves the floating dots every mill. More come should jump on the floating dot every mill wagon. I like the floating dot every mill thing too. Let's see. During practice, I have the chrono on. That's why I get. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I would say, from a guy who's, now take this for granted, because I honestly think a lot of times for a lot of different things, I'm a better coach than I am practitioner. And when I talk to guys who are practicing, you're better to stop and evaluate every 10 to 15. Be purposeful, do things with intent. And it's funny because I get a lot of people who tell me, we're talking to matches, they're like, oh, you're going to kick my butt. You shoot all the time. That is true. I do shoot all the time. I shoot all the time with the intent on being a good content creator camera guy and not trying to deliver what I'm trying to deliver in a good digestible way. That's what I'm focused on when I'm shooting. I'm not focused on building good reps, on good trigger pulls, on seeing misses, any of that. So the reps that I'm doing are worthless. Like, they're not worthless. They're worth something, but they're worth 1/10 of what if I was training and shooting would be. So I would say, just make sure you're breaking those down, even your SD and ESs. If that's what pauses you, be very intent, driven, focus driven, and really give yourself time to process what you just did, what worked, what wasn't, right. And always in a positive manner, because your brain, believe it or not, can only do like one thing, cognizant one thing at a time. And your brain, when you look at what you did right, focus on what you're doing right, your brain kind of responds positively to that. And when you're doing something and you're telling yourself, hey, that worked, that was good, your brain is saying, let's turn that into muscle memory. And that's how you're going to build progress. You may already be, already down that road, but just in case for anybody who's listening out there, if that benefits you, I hope you get something out of that, because that kind of transformed how I trained initially. Let's see. Thoughts on a threaded truck axle? I mean, if you want to thread it, sure. I mean, I don't. Now they have clamp-on tuners, so I think it's kind of, unnecessary if you don't want to thread it. I don't like threading. I don't like messing with the muzzle end if I can. Even when I get my ARs built, they obviously need to be threaded for muzzle brakes, things like that. I haven't done 5/8, so I can't even get a 22 caliber muzzle brake. I just go to a 6 mil because I want as much meat on the end of that barrel as I can. Mr. Eagle Eye shooting in his house. What's up, Mr. Kenny? Bro, you probably going to turn this thing around. I know I'm minutes behind on the comments, guys. I know that. I get behind all the time. But I hadn't had a single person ask me about your new action yet in this live stream. And I'm pretty sure at like 45 minutes in, based on the conversation being 2 minutes behind, that's going to change right now. Speaking of SDs, powder position and center fire, the cartridges are always base down. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Let's see. See ya, Conservative Sniper Hunter, man. It was nice seeing you again. Always nice seeing you in the chat when you do pop in. Appreciate you coming. Yep, Armstrong Enterprises, man. If you're looking for, and I think they're right around $100 for those. Yeah, zoom out. That's true. Less magnification almost always fixes a lot of different things. Let's see. I'm looking at the AccuPoint or 10 mile from Trijicon from my BMR B14-308. Any recommendation for other option and price range? I've actually never tried both of those. I know guys have shot the 10 mile and had positive things to say, but it's not a very popular scope, and I'm not sure if that's for a really good reason, but I would take a good hard look at the price point of that scope and look across the spectrum. And you may find something really popular, really competitive with more features for that same money. Monster has okay price points. Put a Hornet on my kids' optic and does a good job. There's a lot to be asked for, but they track. Yeah. And I'll say this, like most, if not all the budget scopes now track. Like tracking and turrets are not the issue. Like longevity, how long they hold up, to stand up to abuse and still track may be a thing. But like all of the companies, Chinese companies included, they're going to track. Like that's not even a problem anymore. That's a long time ago problem. That's like, if you ever go to the range, you'll see a guy who will make a windage adjustment while he's zeroing, and then he'll tap his scope. You know what I mean? That's another leftover thing from when we used to have the actual wire reticles. When they do it, they would tap it and make sure everything was settled. These are etched reticle scopes. The technology is there. Tracking is really not. I don't even pay it. I don't even do tracking tests on my scopes, and we'll talk about that quickly. Because every scope, let's consider this, right? Let's say that this does not track. If I put this scope in a culminator, right? And that's the real test for these. Say I put this in a culminator and the tracking is off. Let's say it's off 30%, right? Okay, it's off 30%. When I put this on my gun and I build out the gun profile and I create a dope chart for that, it's for this scope in that gun. If this scope is off a certain value, I've built that into my dope. I'm accounting for that. So it doesn't even matter to me, because all that matters is when I range something and says 150 yards, I know that it's 4 mils on this gun. Whether or not this tracks to another optic or not, it's 4 mils. Doesn't matter. If it's really 3.9, it's really 4.1 or 4, I know that this gun, this rifle, 4 mils hits that target. And that's how I treat every scope. So to me, like, if the tracking, if it's not reliably tracking, if it's changing, that's a problem. If it's not returning to 0, that's a problem. But these are things that are generally not issues, right? Like, they're going to return to 0. There's not going to be a shift in 0 on magnification. Like these etch reticles and the science and stuff, the technology is there. But yeah. I wonder if it's on like 45.7. I'm not sure where bullet down. Which 22 are bullet down? I wonder if it's like, I'm not even actually following you, to be totally honest. Thanks, man. I appreciate you for jumping on. Yeah, it's Alaska is a beautiful place, though. I was out in Ketchikan for a couple of months, 4, 5, 6, 7 months or whatever it was, which is obviously, kind of not bigger, but it's a smaller place. But yeah, I was in Ketchikan for a little while. Really nice place, though, as far as the scenery goes. Partially due to my channel on C450 MTR and MDTX RS chassis, I've been having a ton of fun with that, taking out 600 yards since. So thanks. Awesome, man. Good to hear. Any insight on Rimfire and price? Are we in for an increase after the first year? Man, I don't know. It's at this point, I would expect a bump every year, like a couple % bump every freaking year. It's almost been normalized. I mean, I hope that they flatline. I hope that they stop. Like, it's certainly not going to go down, which sucks because I think it's rapidly went up. So I hope it, flatlines. But personally, I just kind of expect it to go up a couple % every year. Let's see. Yeah, and you ain't wrong, man. I shoot more 9mm now. Honestly, I can shoot 9mm cheaper, and it's not precision, but all this appreciable skills, So it's just like I'm shooting less 22 just for fun, just for kicks, and shooting more 9mm to have fun because somehow it's cheaper. But yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. That's a good tip there. Let's see. Burris had the Peeplex and their Daylight Iris, which helped with the depth of field and mirage. They actually made their glass loophole with Japanese glass. Yeah, and there's some interesting things, about who makes what. And, I'm not super spun up on those. But I always like the fact that Burris and Leupold, on some level, assemble scopes in the U.S., which is pretty cool. Even though if Leupold's getting their glass from Japan or whatever, I always thought that was pretty cool. Because it's not very common, especially this day and age. Any preference on brand and scope mount? I pretty much have all Area 419 tactical mounts, one-piece mounts right now. I just really like them. They've been working, and kind of when I go with the mount, I just kind of go across the board. For the CZs, still the Area 419 is my go-to. Go bass fishing. It won't take long to get a good feel for how hard it's blowing. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. I don't think stock is going to go back. The demand is crazy. It's going to continue to be crazy. The good thing is the prices are going up. Demand will drop off a little bit because of that. So you'll see some, in stock. So I think you'll see some Lapua stick around a little bit longer with the price increase, but yeah, it's, I don't know. Are you going to get your hands on a new MPA Rimfire? I know several people have one on order. I'm going to check them out, kind of see what it is. And then, yeah, I might have to just get one. I don't know. We're going to see. Have you got, and I have not handled the Deuce 2.0. That's one I haven't messed with yet either. Let's see. He's been waiting for Kenny to show up. My wall's been a hole burning through, waiting on a Genesis to drop. Yeah, exactly. Appreciate you, Roger. Thanks for showing up, man. What action are you buying if money wasn't a concern? Well, if you haven't taken a look around me right here, I make bad financial decisions. So my answer is all of them, but I don't know. There's new stuff coming out. The MPA, Kenny's Genesis. Like, I mean, it's hard to tell you to go buy a Voodoo right now because I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get it to you. I don't even know who's pulling the strings in that company, and I don't know if they're worth saying to go get it. I mean, the Voodoo action is a great action. Like, there's no denying that, and it's an action I would recommend to anybody. But in terms of where we're at now, what is out right now, probably tell you to buy the MPA because I kind of know, those guys are good people. And the action, I'm sure, is going to be good. So, of course, talking about other things, I'd just wait 6 months, wait for the Genesis to drop, and so we all know. But if you had to get one right now, I would probably say the MPA. If you're willing to wait, I would wait, and that way we can get a good look at the Genesis. Compare that to a bunch of the other ones. Obviously, Kenny's been putting in a lot of work on it, so be real interested to see. Yeah, loving the new Pulse Pro. Love mine, especially when I keep reading my match timer on the Apple Watch. Yeah, I like it. I never ran, I got a Garmin. I don't run Apple Watches. Yeah, I like it, man. It's, cable management, it's a thing, but it's not overcomable. And once you figure it out, it's there. I thoroughly enjoy that thing for PRS shooting for sure. I wouldn't put it on my other guns like, my sniper match gun, but it's for PRS is perfect. What's CZ 4%? Honestly, right now, it's hard to recommend them because they're making changes. I've heard rumors that they've changed manufacturing places and that the new CZs kind of suck. Like, the quality control has gone down. So honestly, right now, with that in question, and I have no relationship with CZ, I would honestly tell you to buy a T1X right now if you were looking, because I don't know. Like, people are getting plastic recoil lugs. Like, I would get a T1X, honestly. Just considering I don't know what the new CZs look like. Have you ever thought about building something to test that's cheap, like an RPR raffle it off and make profit and then donate the profits? People want to see the content. Yeah, no, I want to shoot more budget stuff. To be honest with you, the budget stuff gets way more views. Like, it does, right? There's plenty of YouTubers. I ain't gonna name them. You guys know who they are. It's just never been my gig. Like, I don't mind if it's gonna be good and if it's gonna be impactful. Then yeah, like I will get it. Go out of my way and bought it. That's literally why I bought the 2020, the Springfield 2020, because I knew it was a piece of crap. Like, but I wanted people to know that. So I paid for the rifle, bought it, shot it. If there's something cheap that I think is going to be good, like positive, like to people not want to spend a bunch of money to get something good, then I'm going to buy it and I'm going to make videos on it. And the videos will kill on those things. Like David versus Goliath, budget versus expensive. Those just do way better. Just haven't seen anything realistically that's come out that like has made me be like, that I haven't already done a video on. That's like, hey, like this is worth it. Like, I can do RPR videos. They really do really well, but I think you're keyholing yourself with that gun. Like, there's not a lot of support. At the end of the day, you're going to end up, with a gun that doesn't do a lot of things. Like, it does a lot of things okay. It's just not good at any of them, like in reality. So the RPR doesn't get much love from me. The cheaper guns usually don't because I just don't see potential in them. Like the CZs, the Tikas, those kind of things do. I'm hoping that something, comes out budget-wise that really, like, kind of, sets a new bar. Because once the gun's good, like, the aftermarket will follow kind of thing. But, yeah, that's kind of why I don't do it a lot because, trust me, there's a ton of videos that I can make with just, like I've thought about it before, too. I just kind of don't want to lead people down the wrong path. Like, I could go buy a Savage tomorrow and make a video and say, $300 rimfire that beats my $3,000 or whatever, and I can make that a reality in that video and get a crap ton of views. But it's just Like at the end of the day, the Savages are good shooters. They're good for the price point, but everything else kind of sucks about them, and you're kind of limiting yourself. I imagine that most people watching this channel are here because they wanted to get into some sort of competitive shooting, really serious precision shooting. And yeah, I just don't want to do things that I don't think are a net benefit to you guys watching it. Let's see, L3I or DPG truck axle. I mean, I don't know. Like I guess you'd have to be, so give me a little bit more specifics. Are you asking me Stinger versus the unreleased Genesis? Because I can't even have an opinion there. Or are you talking about, like, you'd definitely be more specific. But truck axles for everything. That's the real answer. Let's see. We have noticed on a lot of low-end scopes, you're losing a lot of the elevation on the rail of the scope when dialing will sometimes shift sideways in its point of movement. What freaking low-end piece of junk are you using, man? You guys in Australia are wild, bro. Y'all are using some real stuff. Catch a can. Is that the crack at the Tinny Tribe? Yeah, that's true. We don't sell prefits for them. Yep. So DPG only does like builds, right? So they don't like sell prefits. He said dropped off 38 actions today. They are coming. You can get everybody all riled up, bro. Shot with Greg Roman last weekend at NRL 22X. Shot along a MPA Elite and did better. Nice. I think Greg moved to MPA, I think. So Greg was part of Voodoo. I think is now part of MPA. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case right now. Any experience with Hawk? No, not in a super long time. Way back when I did, but it wouldn't be relevant now. Let's see. From Belgium, waiting to get that DPG. I hear you, brother. B14R. Yeah, I mean, to me, the B14R, for the money, is not a bad gun. So everything needs to be considered relative, like, to money. But, like, are you going to go buy a stock B14R and be competitive? Like, no, you're not. If you only want to spend $1,000, you're going to get a complete rifle. That's like a 700 trainer. If that's all you're trying to do, then I would say that's a good move. But yeah, there's another one. There's not even a comparison there. Like, it just, there's just the B14R is not meant to. It was not built to be what these other guns are, like these custom guns. It's just not. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to hit a price point, be a Remington 700 compatible gun. You can do a bunch of stuff to it. There's a lot of fixes, but at the end of the day, it's just not meant to be like at a national level event. It's just not going to be the gun you're going to see being used. I mean, maybe you will, but it's by Bergara monster shooters. Like, let's see. Yeah, Kenny's just kind of naming off some stuff you see. Let's see. Last thing is going to shoot more CCISV matches. Yeah. What do I recommend for chamber indicator for the CZ to get rid of? Dude, I ditch mine. You don't need it. Like, let me not tell you don't need it. Okay. So they sell one. There's a metal one, and I think Pete's Pillar sells it. Because you definitely need a firing indicator in your bolt, like for safety reasons. But if you were to lose the one that's in there, it's not going to impact the performance of anything at all. And if you're like 90% of us, when you're not shooting the gun, it's bolt open, mag out. Yeah, it's like, it's a bolt gun. I'm not even sure. The firing pin indicator, I guess that's nice, but like, yeah, totally unnecessary to keep it in there if you don't want it in there. Are you still liking the L3I Stinger mag, or has it seen its day? So, I mean, I think they're redesigning it. To be honest, it's super heavy. Like, it functioned good for me. Like, I didn't have any problem with that. It functioned fine. Functionally, it's good. But, like, the NDR, this Alta Arms mag, like, they're lighter, they're billet, like, they're the same capacity, half the weight. Like, So, I'm not like, I'm ruck training for the sniper match, but I'm not trying to ruck train at, the PRS matches. So, I'm not running mine right now. I do run it here at the house. I mean, still said it works fine. It feeds it really well, but see. But yeah, I'm just using the other ones because they're smaller, lighter. Let's see. Remix still in the mix for high-end. Well, of course it is. I mean, like, they've had their speed bumps or whatever. It's still a high-end custom gun. Still people, they're still being sent to gunsmiths all over the place. They're still getting chambered, and they're still hammering at places, So it's definitely still a gun. I think you quickly identify too as like, there's feature sets to like stuff. Like Kenny's Action has a feature set that he wanted to add to it. He didn't think was in the market. So there's features to it that don't exist in other places. Like when you start talking about high-end 22s, like ignition pretty much across the board, like all those things are going to be there. Like there are dedicated actions meant to do one thing, and it's really going to come down to personal preference or feature set. So obviously, like, things are changing. We're adding more features. We're getting new stuff. We're getting new options. So, but yeah, it's definitely still in the ring. Let's see. World champion and Europe champion is using a Bergara. Yeah. I'm not saying the gun won't shoot. I would bet it's not a factory Bergara, and they're probably sponsored, but, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We have Bergara shooters here in the U.S. If I hand Chris Simmons a Bergara that's worked over by a gunsmith, can he go shoot and win? Yeah. But look at the numbers. Like, that's the easiest thing. We actually had a talk with a guy last stream. We're talking about air guns, how well they were advancing in the market, what they were doing, how much more capable they were now. And I try to not let my personal opinions or what I feel like get in the way of statistics. Like, the facts are there, and that's why I told him we could argue about why this guy who shot air guns in NRL couldn't compete in open. We could talk about that all day, or how well they will or won't do. But nationals was a week away, so I'm going to look at the national results and see where guys are finishing, and that's what I'm basing at where air guns at in terms of being competitive against 22 open guns. Same thing for this. If you look across the spread, like, I'm not dogging Bergaras. I've seen some real hammer B14Rs come out of some shops. But when you look across the deal, it's not statistically represented. Like, it's just not. And that's, for a reason. So, let's see. Am I still running the Vision? Yeah. I still have, other stuff too. But yeah, I have Vision on my 22 ARC comp gun and my other comp gun. I pretty much run my comp gun in a Vision. So, yeah. Is 4% Mayor's worth of money? We just buy the Pro Farm. I would buy the Pro Farm and put it in chassis, dude. I'm not nothing against the Manners, but man, getting them thing to balance is just like a freaking chore, dude. It's so much harder than a chassis, and the chassis is going to give you so much more versatility. Let's see. Have you ever checked out Vector Continentals? I don't think so. Shot glass and a Chinese-made scope. My current scout beginner gets some Midas Tech. Vector Continent. God dang, somebody I know was doing some of them or told me about them maybe, and maybe I talked to them at some point, but I don't think I looked at it yet. Yeah, I don't think I have, but yeah, be interesting for sure. When are we going to see it down there? Man, I can't freaking get more than 5 hours, 6 hours of sleep. I don't know when I'm coming to dang Australia. I guess if y'all have, if y'all get Worlds or whatever, maybe I'm just going to come out. I'm not going to be on the team, but maybe I'll just come out for a trip. I'll RO and throw my boomerang you brought me. I still have that, by the way. Let me see. It's still here. It's on display. They don't see it here on the gun wall ever, but it's up here. Oh, the Tree Feller came to the U.S. for nationals more than a couple of years ago now. They brought me this sweet boomerang. So when if and when Worlds goes to Australia, I guess I'm going to have to go there. I'm going to take back the boomerang. I'm going to wait till he's on like his last stage and he thinks he's in the mix. And I'm going to whip this boomerang and smack him in the side of his big old huge head and mess him up. But yeah, I still got that thing. I appreciate you bringing me that too. That was real cool. Have you tried aluminum magwell upgraded from position 7 to 1 fat review? Yeah, I have one in the gun. I've been testing it. Like, I try not to jump to anything real quick, but yeah, I have it. Seems fine to me. It's like, seems pretty good. But yeah, they sent that and a couple other doodads. Somebody told position 7, apparently, because it wasn't me, somehow that I like red. So they sent me like every accessory they make in red, and I hate red. Like, the magwell is like, there ain't much of it red, but there's a bunch of like their 3D printed stuff, which is actually pretty cool. And I figure once I get enough time on that magwell, I'm going to do a whole thing because I want to try everything. They make some cool stuff. But yeah, somebody told me I like red. I don't like red. So a lot of the stuff they send me is like bright red, and I just like, I hate it. The product's good. It's just, I just don't like the color. Thoughts on a good chassis for 1022? The kid chassis are pretty good, man. Honestly, for the 1022s. There's a bunch of other ones too, but let's see. And you were right. It is a great time to get in the end. I mean, there's just so many options, and options for us as end users at the end of the day are great. And that's why I'm like not ever going to be affiliated with like a certain gun, a certain anything, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense for me. There's so many options. I got to have an objective view at it. So it's blowing up. I mean, like, you couldn't get a Voodoo mag like 3 years ago, whatever. Now you like can't throw a rock and miss a freaking like Voodoo mag that's being developed by somebody or being made. So pretty crazy. Let's see. Maybe it's your video I saw, man. So he said he got the 16 inch, a really good glass, trying to make time for a review. Do you want to check it out? I'll hit him up, man. You don't got to send it. Keep yours and use it at the shop. I'll hit him. Maybe I was talking to you, man. I can't even remember now. There's just so many new scopes and it's hard to keep track of it. But I'll definitely check it out. I could swear that I talked to those guys and that they were going to send that scope. I thought for me to, I don't know. I have to go look through my email. I did see them. I should have a mag coming in for that. And I think that's the mag that Kenny's going to offer with the Genesis. That's what's going to come with it. So good pairing there. C does reviewed the Vector X Continental, lots of CA. Oh, okay, cool. Might want to check out. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't, like, it's not possible that the guy wasn't shooting a factory Bergara or whatever. Like, a lot of times it's a shooter, but statistically, then this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because if we're to say, well, Michael Blackburn shooting a factory Bergara, like, everybody should go out and buy one. Like, there's a reason why guys don't shoot Bergaras a lot. Can you win it? Yeah. Like, can you literally hand Chris Simmons a Savage and him go win a national event with it? Yeah. Does that mean you should run out or recommend it? No, probably not. I mean, the Bergara just isn't made to be that. Like, and I think he was shooting open, right? So I'm not sure what his rifle said it was. If it was factory Bergara. Like I said, the Bergara can be massaged. I mean, I've seen Bergaras shoot extremely well, but, you know, it's just the action is not comparable to a Rim-X or Voodoo or whatever. It's just not in terms of feel, consistency, those kind of things. Will it shoot? Yeah, of course it will. I'm not saying that at all. So let's see. Mr. Revolution. Yeah, I'm probably going to call in the next couple of minutes, guys. Looks like we're dropping. Well, we're not dropping down people. Still plenty of people watching. We just haven't do. Oh, before I do, I wanted to talk about, before I jump out of here, I think you guys have probably always seen that thing, that like trifecta, like where you have like a pie chart and it's like only two of the three things can be true. Like, it's like cheap, fast, and good. Like, if you want it cheap and fast, it can be good. If you want it cheap and good, well, it can be fast. That's kind of how I rationalize it and tell people when we're talking about scopes, but in terms of price, weight, and performance, right? Like, So if you want it to be lightweight, or we could say, yeah, price. If you want it to be lightweight and cheap, it's not going to have good performance, right? And that's true of most of these. Like take this Arkin, for example, or the DNT, or fill in the blank with whatever. This scope is nearly a pound heavier than most other scopes that are similar, right? And bigger. If you go to the Discovery, it's even bigger of a form factor. So they're it's like cell phones, right? Like if cell phones were still the size of a phone book, they would be cheaper to make, right? It's kind of in optics. Like when you're not worried about weight, you don't have to be worried about weight and size so much. Like it's easier to build a better performing scope that's bigger and heavier. It's cheaper to do that than it is to build it that's lighter and, in a more compact size. So I kind of use that for scopes. Like, you're kind of always battling that. Like if you want it to be, like good form factor with really good performance and all those things and not weigh a ton, like it's going to be expensive. Like, and all those things aren't always important to a lot of people, and it's kind of like technology and even cell phones. Like, does the iPhone Pro Max cost more than the iPhone 8? Like you probably buy the iPhone 8 for like $50 and this phone's $1,000. Is it that much times better? Like, no. Like, and if you just pick this thing up and make phone calls, does it do it any better than the 8? No. So like, it's kind of with scopes. Like, these at a certain price point, $500, $600, $700, you start getting like that works for 90% of people doing 90% of things. It's never a bad idea, or there's never a reason not to buy more glass, better glass. Like that's not wasted money. And I don't think I've ever been disappointed spending a bunch of money on a scope that was really good. So yeah, it's just things to consider there. Let's see how many answer these questions. Try and pop off here in a few minutes. Have I used thermal? Yeah, I mean, get a 640 sensor for as good a price as you can. They're good for what they're intended to be used for. Shooting stuff at night. That's what they're good for. Outside of that, let's see. At this rate, all the snipers are next door will be popping guys at 400 yards. So yeah, you're right. On your pure center, are you adding weight beyond what's needed to balance? No, I just make it balance. If it's 18 pounds, the balance is great. If it's 23, fine. I just make it balance. I'm not trying to purposely make it light. I'm just not trying to purposely make it heavier. Most of the time, the bigger barrels, the bigger chassis, they're 20-plus pound guns when you get them to balance. So that just kind of be what it is. I always wonder why. Yeah, man, suppressors are just, you have a changing mass, changing volume at the end of your barrel, at the most critical point of your barrel. Like you have something changing, and then chances of crap getting in there, it's usually just not worth the squeeze for guys. Nice. That's good to know. Yeah, the one I only have one. It's really good. So I'm waiting to check mine out, man. I'm excited. I'm freaking, yeah, it's been good for me. So I've been real excited about everything. Nice. That's always good to hear. Let's see. That may sound a little weird. I mean, if you like the Anschutz rifle, yeah, I mean, you're not going to see them in PRS and NRL. Again, in quotations, like, are you going to see some? Sure. You're not going to see them largely in use because it's just not kind of it's just kind of not what they do. They do make good rifles, but I just don't think they make, anything that PRS and NRL guys are super interested in. Let's see. Have you gotten use from that human? Yeah, actually, and I've got, I don't know if I can say, God dang it. There's an upgrade to something, but not on the Human, that I'm going to use the Human to show. Yeah, I use that thing all the time, dude. I take it right to the pond there where I got the beaver problem. At night, super quiet. The GK1 is perfect for it. Small, little thermal slot on it, and blast beavers, man. It works good for that. I love it for around the house. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you showing up. Which one do I recommend for NRL? DNT or the one? Or yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd recommend either or. Look at them, see which reticle you like the most, and go with that. You're not going to be disappointed either for the money. Let's see. Appreciate you, Mr. Mark Lashway. Ranga Red. No, not Mike Bush. We're talking about Greg Roman. Greg Roman worked for Voodoo. He left Voodoo. He works for MPA now. Mike Bush is not with MPA. Got one of the 3 new CNC. Nice, man. Heck yeah. Glad to hear that, bro. He's electric. Yeah. Well, Clay showed up at the last minute, man. Clay showed up. It's time to pack it up. I know, on a serious note, I appreciate all you guys showing up. Hour and 20 minutes in, was kind of planning on this being about an hour. Planned on talking a little bit more junk about some stuff, but, save that for the videos. It's just always nice to get on here. To be honest, there's no video coming out for me tomorrow. I could have put a video out. I kind of got through it, edited it, realized there was like literally no substance to it. Like I thought I was trying, I thought there was going to be, there wasn't. I don't want to put out a video with like nothing. Like there's nothing. So you won't see a video from me tomorrow, but that's okay because it'll give me time. I'm going to grind on some videos tomorrow. I'll probably drop one midweek. Of some of actual substance of use to people. But thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate everybody who comes to the, 100. I think we had like 170. Not really been Hawkeye tonight, but we had 170 at one point. So, yeah, it's pretty scary. Shot bill over for electric. Yikes. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. Appreciate you. Offered the machine. I offer the machine myself. Oh, god dang. I don't know if I want to be responsible for that. It's probably like a freaking $1 million machine. Appreciate you, Mr. Thank you, TD Wilson. Butt bugger factor 15 out of 10. Yeah, I can imagine. Appreciate you guys. Everybody who showed up, thanks again. And yeah, if you got a question in the interim, guys, shoot me an email, go on YouTube, leave a comment. I appreciate all you guys for allowing me to do this, allowing me to be one of the guys in the mix, getting stuff to check out for you. Thank you guys for trusting me with the responsibility of not BSing you and giving you the truth. So appreciate you guys as always. And yeah, we will catch you on the next one. Guys, be